Solo dev life is very hard, especially in UEFN. You know, it's really hard to be really good at everything. Now that I can start delving into building again, it's going to be looking to collab and making certain games. That's like my really big passion, what I've been missing. Also, just being a little closer and to the community as well. It's very important for us to voice our opinion about what's going on in our ecosystem. As someone with young kids, I want it to be a safe place where kids can come and people don't have to worry.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Creative Callouts. I'm your host, Giggila, and today I am joined by a returning guest to Creative Callouts, a UGC thought leader, a former speaker at Unreal Fest for Epic Games, a podcast host of his own, and UGC legend. It is Immature Gamer.
Hi, hey Gig, how's it going? What an intro, thank you.
I always try and do good intros, you know, try and hype up the crowd almost.
Oh, yeah.
So
Got to.
It's not like it's a live event, but here, we'll pump in as much as we can. Where's the fanfare, the fireworks? We'll get it all going.
Amazing. It's definitely different. I'm used to being in your shoes so much for the podcasting side of things. So yeah, this will be fun.
I think.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's absolutely great having you on. And obviously, this is your second time actually coming on. And you're the first ever solo guest appearance twice.
Yes.
No one else has ever done it twice and been the only guest on.
Let's go.
So you and I had our first sit down in the beginning of 2024. So over 2 years ago now.
Oh my God. That's been that
long. It's when we last recorded. And since then, a lot has changed for the both of us.
Yes.
And I think the biggest thing for you is you were working at the time at GameFam.
Yep.
And since then, you have left there. So what have you been doing and what's your key points since the last time we've talked?
Yeah, so I left actually it's a little over a year ago now. I had a non-compete, so I couldn't really, make games or anything, publishing or any of that sort of thing in the ecosystem. So that has finally changed. So lots of new things coming. But what I've been doing in the past year is just really focusing on social media. Is what I could do. I would get in engine just to mess around, make tutorials and things like that. Still love doing that. But, now I really want to get back to, game development, doing the things I love like I used to do, before I went over to GameFam, is making my own game. So I'd love to get back into that. I'm going to look into that things and what other opportunities come my way. But yeah, right now I just been focusing on that and enjoying kind of not that daily, even though it's a lot of work and I still worked every day a lot, but it was still like, you can create your own schedule, and I got 2 kids. And so it was been nice to be able to take them to school and, work around their schedule for a while. And I was just enjoying that.
Yeah. I mean, you were definitely very busy the first time you and I had this conversation. But I don't think you're going to be as free as long, because obviously you're going to be throwing yourself straight back into everything with your non-compete recently up.
Yep.
So, because I already know of one thing that you're already lending your ear to, which is a thing. I'm sure we'll have a bigger discussion later down the line of this episode with it. But there's so much. Well, let me actually reword that. I think there's so many opportunities that you have at this turning point. Not only is it a new year, but this is a fresh start for you.
Yeah.
And you don't get a lot of that in this community. There's not this many fresh starts. So
yeah,
we've briefly touched on what you have done. What is next for you?
Yeah. So I can't, I've made lots of games, made lots of successful games myself. And so, it's hard. The solo dev life is very hard, especially in UEFN, just with so many different facets in game design and mechanics that, it's really hard to be really good at everything. So, now that I can start delving into building again and things like that, I'm definitely going to be looking to collab and making certain games and that maybe will compete on the ecosystem. That's like my really big passion, what I've been missing, what I've been wanting to do since I kind of went over there. I miss that. It also just being a little closer and to the community as well. Like I do my best, but it is hard when you're not building day to day to really understand the struggles that all of us devs go through in this ecosystem, right? And so I'm excited about that, and I think really that's kind of what I'm really interested in. But I'm all ears. I'm open to talk to anybody who wants to talk.
I think that's one of the big qualities out of you that I've absolutely loved is just the community aspects. And we mentioned this one in the last podcast, but it's still ongoing. So I want to bring this one back up, is your showcases.
Yeah.
Which is still a lovely thing. And since the last time, actually, when we started this back 2 years ago, was the first ever time that I joined in one of your showcases. And that's when I started posting and everything. So it's been 2 years of me sitting in on the showcases now, and it is incredible to watch every single one. Not only for yourself, but everything that's just shown off. There's so many good developers, maps, and things that get brought on. It's just incredible to see, and I think it's not only a credit to the community to see the development of people in the ecosystem, because we've seen so much growth in those streams.
Yeah,
from individual creators to larger creators. Even Epic pops in every now and again.
Yeah, yep.
I saw one of the people I talk to a lot, Alex.
Yeah,
Alex is absolutely great. I've seen him pop in there a few times. Sabrina.
Yeah,
saw her face. I'm sure there's a few others that I'm just not remembering off the top of my head, but it's great that you still do these streams.
Oh, dude, the Creator Showcase I think I've been doing now, maybe started at like a year after Creative started, a year or two. So I've been doing, was that 5-6 years now? I've been doing the Creator Show, something crazy, and it's just been so fun. Like it was, at the time when I was building, I'd get a lot of people sending me their games and their maps and want me to check it out, and like I don't have time to do that. And so I was like, well, hey, this is maybe a good way to use my platform that I've grown because of you all, because of creators, to maybe shine some light on their creations. And so that's kind of how it started. I mean, and what's crazy about this, you could go back, Panville's, now, oh my God, there's there's like lots of, I don't know if I want to name people, but like massive people in our community kind of even, I don't want to say started out there, but kind of like before you didn't know who they were in these showcases showing off some of their games, like crazy creators. So it's just like you said, it's been really cool seeing, a lot of the creators that consistently come on and seeing how they've grown and how they've, how they started and where they are now. A lot of them are on big teams. A lot of them have made successful maps, and, that's nothing to do with the show, but like, it's just cool to see. And honestly, I just love doing it. I do it once a month. Actually, we're going to be doing it very soon again. I'd love to do it even more. We never get through everybody. There's so many people that submit. And really though, it's the community really that makes that stream. Everyone's really cool in chat and active and chatting and talking and helping. And I know a lot of people have found friends and creators and devs just from that stream. So yeah, it gives me a chance to meet other creators and talk, see what people are building, and help maybe shine some light on some of their games. So I love doing it. Thanks for bringing it up. And yeah, any creators that are interested in submitting their games, like if you're following me on X or on if you're in my Discord, a shameless plug, but Creative Juice Discord, you guys will get alerted and you can submit your maps, and hopefully see you on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I am one for, I think I've, helped try and push out every single one in the past 2 years, and that's not going to change anytime soon. So not only, I normally do this at the end, but you'll be able to find all of Matt's links in below. I will be adding that Discord as well, so you're welcome to have a look in there. But I will touch on the name real quick. I don't know whether you were putting something out there. I saw the hand go up.
Well, I want to shout you out too. Because so yeah, Gig has for the last few years has been like, he's inactive in chat. He's been like taking photos and videos of what I've been of the show and publishing it on X for me to like retweet and even give more promotion for it. So like that is a huge undertaking, dude. You're running a studio, you're doing all these social medias yourself. Oh, dude, huge shout out to you for also doing that, because I do not have time to do all that. And I know all the creators that do come show their games appreciate it, and as well as I do as well. So thank you. I wanted to make sure I added that.
No, honestly, I just love giving back as much as I can to the community in any way. So even just putting out those maps, taking all the images, I've gotten so good at finding the links and codes to the maps before, because obviously you don't show the codes on the screen because you just put the map in. But by the time you've loaded in, I've already found the map code either through .gg or Fortnite itself. I've gotten really quick with the typing and, you know,
a huge help. A huge help. And yeah, you've helped with social, like they're getting their links and stuff so people can follow people. Thank you, dude. Huge help.
It's my absolute pleasure, honestly, to just like I already said, it's so much fun to be in these streams. If you haven't already checked out one of these streams, you absolutely have to, because these streams are great for new creators, current creators wanting to learn more, or just anything like that. It's just incredible, just all the way through. So credit to you for doing it for what, 6+ years?
I think
now?
5 or 6 years. I don't know. I keep creative was what, 28? Was it 2018?
2018, December 2018.
So what is that? We're at 8 years. So yeah, like probably 6. I could go back and look. Yeah. It's been crazy.
It's been longer than I've been in the scene.
I used to do another stream called Fixing Creators Maps. I don't know if people remember this. This will be anyone listening. If you're an OG, you'll remember. But I would, because I was a top programmer in the space, and again, people kept asking me to help fix their map, this or that, and I would have people. I would go live and I'm like, I wouldn't know anything. They'd be like, hey, I got a problem on my game, or I try and build this, and I would just do it live. And sometimes it would take me 5 minutes, sometimes it would take me an hour, but it was fun. It like really challenged my brain. And it was, what I did it though for is to show other people, like if I help this person, maybe the other people watching could like, learn something. So no, I missed that stream. It was a hard stream to do, but I would love if any of the versers out there would wanted to do do something like that. That'd be cool. It's entertaining to watch.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know of those streams actually. I think that was before I started, but again, I came up in the creative scene a little bit later. I started in like 2020, so I was a little bit later in the scene than actually most of my team. We've got a lot of. I'm probably in the decently new still, even though I've been around for like 5-6 years at this point. It still feels like I'm a newbie on the block every now and again, especially with verse. So we're back for part 2. Totally nothing happened, and we have not been recording this entire time. So we are going to jump straight into another question. I think I know where we were going to hit off next. I was actually going to mention about Creative Juice. And obviously, you being the only other creative podcast host as of right now. So, how is it running your own podcast?
It's a lot of work. So I started up my Creative Juice podcast actually like 5 years ago now. I don't know, a while ago. And funny enough, those 2 episodes have more are the most viewed even since I've restarted the podcast. But it was just there's lots to say about it, but like I needed like a consistent content. I've always wanted to kind of spin this back up. I've been in this community from day one, grown a lot of relationships with creators, and then not only that, since like teams started coming in and Fortnite creative started growing and UEFN started growing, and I was on the more on the business side. I wanted to really like highlight and showcase that for other creators, and again just bring a conversation to the forefront of what's going on behind the scenes, how some of these creators are being successful, and especially the ones that are there's there's a lot of creators that want to come on, big creators, but they're very nervous or scared to be on camera, or they're very afraid to maybe say something or do something that, you know, either gives, I don't know if it would give away their success or what have you, or negative feed, whatever, all those things. So it's really hard to, you know, this podcast, keep it going, find really entertaining guests, and guests that, you know, can come on and talk about what they do. So long story short, it's been a blast. I've done it for 9 months now, have lots of, you know, it's done very well considering all things. I used to edit everything myself. Now I've kind of hired out. I got an editor now, and I have short form editors now who really help, because honestly, it was taking me a whole week of the month, and I do it bi-weekly, just to edit everything from start to finish, from recording questions, all that, to live with shorts. So it's way more work than I knew. It was a lot of work. It's definitely way more work than I ever thought. But yeah, it's been really fun getting sponsors now, and have some really cool guests that are coming on. I'm also trying to start bringing some other people from other UGC platforms in to kind of, you know, I love kind of comparing and contrast of the other UGC systems to what we've been doing. And so, yeah, that's just kind of, you know, how it's been going, how it started, and kind of, you know, a little bit of the plan for the future of Creative Juice.
Yeah, because when I started, you know, Creative Callouts, I looked around and just saw, I knew of your podcast before, so obviously I looked to that for reference, but you weren't doing it when I started it.
Yeah.
I think now I have surpassed yours in length of active time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But that's purely because I've done it for pretty much nearly 2 years straight. Obviously, you know, I've had short breaks for like a month or so, but, you know, not that, you know, there's any competition, because, you know, we're both just promoting the same thing in the end of the day. Like, we're both pushing out creators and everything. And, you know, you've even had Dylan, also known as Rifty, on there, and that was amazing as well. I love.
Yeah, he shows his face a month later. He didn't want to show his face though on my podcast. But hey, this is part of your guys' podcast. This should have been the podcast for the face reveal. So
yeah, he didn't give either of us the face reveal. Actually, he just did it. He didn't. Even the one he was on, he didn't show his face on there, and that was after the face reveal.
Wow. No, and look, and I told you, like, I think you even reached out about doing it. So I'm like, I love anyone like doing content, and especially around Fortnite creative, like, you know, all tides, raids, all, whatever that saying is, you know, like I truly believe that, and especially in creative, like I really, the more people that are advertising, that are promoting Fortnite, the better for all of us. And, you know, it's we are still a very small community, you know what I mean? Yeah. In comparison, like you look at Roblox and other UGCs. So it is kind of hard to find and garnish a podcast. And so love what you're doing. Love, obviously, I want to be on. I love joining this podcast, and anyone listening. Yeah. Like obviously kind of take your own spin on it. Just honestly, I don't think if you copied someone else's podcast, people would be interested, because that's like someone else's. But like you doing your own thing, you have your own. I love what you're doing, and I say that to anybody. You know, make content, just change it a little bit, make it your own, and everyone should be doing this, like in some fashion. Maybe not a podcast, but you should be doing content, at least learning about it, because it's so important for you know, if you're making games, obviously advertising that.
Yeah. I think another thing that, you know, I've mentioned this before, but obviously I've taken great inspiration of the things that you've done in this community, especially your ethics and things like that. I even did back in April, you had a period of time at the beginning of this year where you weren't doing the streams for, so I know I did a stream based around your ones, just it was in a period of time. I think it was, you had a 3 or 4 month period where you were busy, so you couldn't do it. And I think in that like 2 or 3 months in, I was like, I feel like we should do one, but Matt's not around.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I held a small little one, and obviously it was a bit faulty. I know that for sure because
Well, the first ones are always, and look, anything to help out other creators, and yeah, I mean, more the merrier, really,
yeah.
really. And that's just it. Like this community, I got to basically build a studio myself, work for some big studios, and I'm in games now. I'm not working, a 9 to 5 or other job because of this community, and so it's the least I can do. As much as I can, I try to help in this community, and I try to respond to DMs, all those kind of things to help out other creators. I can't always do that, obviously, but like, yeah, it just makes sense to me. Like, why not try to give back if you can?
Absolutely, and I feel like this is the biggest topic we're going to cover in this episode is just community, because I feel like that is two values that we both talk about and care about a lot. Obviously, both in different ways in what we actually do, but this community is large in the terms of it's multinational, it is all around the world. There's so many creators from so many different countries. I can say this: Genesis has people literally all around the globe, pretty much.
Yeah,
and it's a pain to work the contracts for international law, but it's so good to work with. We have people as far as Australia from us here in the UK, obviously America, and then Europe, South America. We have people all over the place. And it's so fun not just to learn what they know about the industry, but also just about their culture as well. That's I think one thing that people don't get a lot is when working online, you learn a lot about other places.
For sure. And that's what's like what COVID did, and it kind of pushed a lot of work from home. And I've run studios and multiple teams building multiple things, and from people all over the globe. And this work from home now is more widely accepted, so it makes things a lot easier. And I don't, how I would run things is like, hey, I don't, whatever your time zone is, that's great. This is when I'll be on. I mean, I'm on. There's no way you don't miss me. I'm on from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. at least. Like, but for my devs or whatever, it was like, as long as we're getting our work done, I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, and it is nice to have different people from different backgrounds, and grow up in different places. It's really fun. I love like Australians. I love working with Australians. They're just like a different animal, and not even work wise, but just like fun. And that's a lot of what when I look and build a team, or when I'm creating with people, I want to build with people that I have fun with and we have a good time, because that comes out into what you build, I believe. So, it's always that delicate balance in trying to find that. But yeah, it's definitely, I think I don't know any UEFN teams that are solely not remote.
Yeah, I cannot think of one that is just purely based in one area.
Yeah,
and even
it doesn't even make sense for cost, to be honest. Like, it really doesn't.
Even with the ones that have a few people, like the only ones that I don't think have those type of issues are solo devs, and that's purely because, well, you can't be a team in multiple places if you're one person.
Yeah. But even then, I'm sure they probably hire out certain things, UI or programming or even that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some straight up solo devs that are doing well for themselves. But, very far and few between.
Yes.
These days. 1.0, it was a lot of people were by themselves.
I think bringing in UEFN with its, there's massive pros and cons to UEFN.
Oh, yeah.
There's a massive learning curve with it, but I think some of especially recent changes, because if you look at the editor when it released 2+ years ago now,
yeah,
It was
we're coming on 2 years, I believe, very soon.
Because it was
3 years.
23 it released.
Yeah,
May 23, March, somewhere around there.
I have to. I should know this.
I know.
March 22nd.
March
so
22nd.
We are 3 years in March.
3 years in March. Okay. So
crazy.
And it's grown so much. Even just so as of recording this week, we've just had the release of transactions, which is a big thing for UEFN. And I think it's mostly gone well. I've seen a few that's already pushed the limits, and I'm not going to mention any map names, but there's one right at the top, which I'm thinking of. But apart from that, I think it's been mostly well received by the creators, I think.
Yeah, there's every release, there's always the good and the bad, and especially when it comes to monetization and money. We've seen this from day one. If you're in 1.0 and they add the support a creator buttons, creators figure hacks around there to get people to press it more. I mean, it goes back to people used to put chest in pregame lobbies, because when you're in pregame lobby, you can't open it, but it's the same interact button. So it forces people to follow you for, if the way you got paid in 1.0 is
SACs.
People had to follow you and have their name when they bought something in the item shop, and then you got a piece of it. So this goes way back to the early days. There's always bad actors. There's always going to be people that push the system at the start to see what they can get away with. And then other creators will follow. It's it sucks. It sucks, but it's just, it is what it is. And, that's where we need, Epic and to step in and kind of make sure they're being open about what's allowed. Like, they have given us rules, what is allowed, but making sure that people who are abusing the system, and they have done that. They've been doing that with creators. They'll make them say sorry on X or whatever it is. And just be more transparent. I believe if Epic is transparent about this and making sure, like, hey, don't do this because this is what's going to happen. That won't, that'll limit that at some capacity. So I hope they do that. It's a great way though for creators now to, even with engagement pay, it's nice, it's handsome. I will say that, but like it just gives creators another lever to earn some real revenue. And look, I know there's a lot of people that hate it, don't like it. We don't want to turn this into that. But they have to look at there's other UGCs out there that do offer some of these things. We've seen teams start moving. We have seen, people do want to build businesses around this, around Fortnite, and this just gives them that lever. Not to mention, other IPs or other things that may come in. It's really going to benefit them as well. We'll see. I made maps when you couldn't even make money. So, I'm here regardless of what happens with that. But I do think it's a good thing. I think it is. And I hope there's going to be bad players, but I do have faith, and I hope those, that gets taken care of and we can make it safe. And I really just want to avoid those headlines of, the other platforms where, tricking kids into gambling or whatever those headlines are. would love to. I don't want Fortnite associated with those things. I do, as someone with young kids, I want it to be a safe place where kids can come and people don't have to worry.
And I think it's great that Epic has been, cracking down on, like, I'm not going to mention names of creators or anything like that, but there was one big map that introduced a thing that was way too pushing into gambling. And Epic stepped in pretty quickly, which is really good to see. And I fully agree with, sticking to their guns pretty much with Epic, because when they say they make a rule, they do stick to it. And the only time they change it is if they literally make a massive amendment to everything. And they haven't done that in a while.
They're usually pretty good about it. And and is there room for improvement on some of this stuff? For sure. But it has to start. We have to get it out there. We have to see how people are going to use it, and then they'll have to crack down and make sure it is a safe space for our players.
Yeah, I think jumping back to the kind of community aspect, one of the biggest things which I'm going to get to experience for the first time is Unreal Fest. As I'm going to be in Chicago this year.
It's going to be awesome, dude. I can't wait to meet you in person.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to that as well. And we're going to get to actually meet a lot of the people we talk to face to face. I know that you've been a speaker at UE Fest actually last year, or was it the year before?
I think it was like 2 years ago now, but yeah.
What was that like for you to get to actually be a speaker at one of these events?
It was the first time that UE Unreal Fest, they started kind of recognizing creators, and UEFN came out around the time, so it was huge. Like it was nervous and scary. I've talked publicly and I'm social media all the time, but I was nervous. Like I'm not gonna lie. And the part of the reason, it's like a 50-minute talk, and then you have 10 minutes of questions, and I don't half-ass anything. Like I'm really, if I sign up or commit to something, I'm gonna give it my all. So it took, and I'm not trying to scare anyone away here, but for me personally, it was a lot of work. I had, once I got my slides, what I was talking about, all those things, and every night, it's an hour talk, so every time I rehearsed it would take an hour. So the last few months, every night I would practice it, just so I just was ready, and I over prepared for sure. But it was awesome. I got up there. I actually had the room was packed. It was amazing. All the creators showed up. It was awesome. And I was nervous maybe for the first minute or two, and I just kind of got into it, and it was fine. And it was a great experience. And it's there's a lot of people actually reached out to me from that talk that were in the audience that I had no idea. I mean, people that were TED Talk people, they wanted to talk to me. This one was interesting. This lady, I don't know if you've been to a Great Wolf Lodge, or there's they actually do it at Universal Studios. If you go to the Harry Potter land, you can buy the wands, and then they have these interactive things where you can it's just this technology that has a sensor, and you can act like you're doing stuff with a wand or whatever. She actually invented this, and she wanted to see how we could do this in the UA. All these really cool things. That's just one example of what came out of that, and just you get to meet these great people. And that, I don't know, it just opens up conversation. People get to see who you are, what you can do, what you provide. And if you are a creator that really wants to grow in this space, you should submit, try to do a talk. And it's not it's not serious. It's serious, but it's not I've seen creators go up there and they've made mistakes or whatever. No one cares. We all get it. And at the end of the day, you're the one up there. You're the one that, had the, whatever you anyone that could say anything negative, they're sitting in the audience scared to do that. So it's really cool. It's really cool to say you've done it. It also is cool because you also meet with people from Epic because you'll be a part of their show and everything like that. So it's a cool way to get ingrained into the system and show off what you can do. But yeah, dude, you're gonna have a blast. I can't wait to meet you and the team in person. It's my favorite event of the year because I get to see all my friends. I get to meet with people. I get to have these conversations face to face. If anyone knows me who's come up to Unreal Fest, this is me. I love these talks. And this is what I'll say. I love when creators will put their PFP on their their gamer tag, whatever, on their shirt. They'll make custom shirts because I'm because I can't remember people's names, or there's a lot of people don't share their faces in our community. But once I know your PFP on X, or I know your name, yes, hey, how's it going? And it's just it's so fun, so fun.
Yeah, I bet I've kind of got this little thing up here.
You better bring me one.
Yeah, we're bringing a few to Unreal Fest. We just got to get it through the customs, and that's the only problem.
You'll be fine.
There should be all right, but
you'll be fine.
No, we're really looking forward to being there because none of us in our team have been there before.
Okay.
And it's also my first time ever going to the States. As I don't
Chicago.
leave. And it's Chicago, which is not like the first, place I feel like I'd go for America. But,
it's a cool big city to see. I've never actually been inside of Chicago. I've been to the airport, but I don't know. Look, any city, any big city, they have their problems, and no creators I've at least I know of, and we've been in Seattle, not St. Louis, New Orleans, and Orlando, and those are all very big cities. And after dark, sure, if you could find trouble, but usually everything's around the event. You don't have to really go out or fun. And if it's something like epic, usually there's Fortnite parties or whatever that if you sign up, when you sign up for, you get to go to, they do transportation, all that. So it's pretty safe and chill. And something I kind of like, I think a lot of creators are really nervous because they don't, we're all just stuck in our little offices every day. We don't go out. We don't talk a lot. And I get, even after COVID, I had that, which I'm not like that. But I just want to say, like, don't, if you're kind of like have social anxiety or you're kind of all those things, like take breaks, like show up. But if you want to talk to a few people here and there, you'll have your chances, and then take breaks, sit, relax, go back to your room, chill. Like you don't have, and you can be as communicative as you want. You don't have to. You can just go to the talks. I would suggest, if you're spending the money to go to get the best out of it, though, is to definitely be try to talk to other creators, people from Epic. Just show your face. It's a lot easier for people to remember you when you talk face to face.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely something I'm looking forward to. I think I mentioned this actually off the pod. I have put in to be a speaker.
Let's go.
Obviously, we don't hear anything for a while, so my plans are still to go with Genesis and things like that. But either way, I don't really mind which way it goes, because a little bit of my background comes originally from the science sector, and I did a few talks as a science person.
Perfect.
So I've had the experience being up on a panel before. Admittedly, I've never done a solo panel, but I'm not against it at all. So as long as, to me, being with certain things that I like to be in at least a position where I can control the room, and being a speaker is an amazing way to do that.
For sure. And look, you talk on these podcasts, that really helps, in social media, all those kind of things. It's literally the same thing. You're just behind a podium. You know what I mean? It really is. And you have a point, a topic you're going to be sharing about and educating the community. I think it's awesome. And I think you'll, after I was done, I don't know, you just have this really, those, when you build something or you do something and you work yourself up for so long and you release it and it does well, it's just like that feeling. That's the feeling we're all going for. And that's what I had after that talk. It was like, that was awesome.
A bit of euphoria almost, I think. Is that one of the words?
Yeah. Euphoria, definitely. I was definitely on cloud nine. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to submit a talk this year. It's for me it's a lot of work prep, like I was explaining, but it's not only that. It's like I love that time to go to other people's talks, and I'm usually, business and other things are going on during that time because of everyone who is there. So it's really hard. It takes a lot of my focus away from why I love going. Is talking. And so I don't know. Yeah, I have some talks. I was thinking about even doing something on the social media side of do a talk about that and how to grow. And so
then you're hitting on the topic that I actually put in on. Then.
Oh, well, perfect. There you go. Maybe
I put in one mainly about building yourself up in communities aspects, how it's important to be as a team or individual. So building on the different aspects. So that's what I've kind of put in for.
Sweet.
Obviously, the topic name's a little bit different, but that's pretty much what it is about. So
that's huge. And just that, I think that mine would have been more just that, just how to promote your games or how to use social media to promote yourself and basically what I've done to grow myself and my podcast and all my other social media things. But yeah, that's awesome, dude. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm on the fence. There's something else I'm not going to mention now that I'm trying to plan there. But I'll announce that if that goes through soon enough. That's what I'm looking forward to. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many cool things. I think the biggest thing is just meeting people in person, because
100%.
I am looking forward to not only meeting people that I work with, I'm looking forward to meeting Epic, because, well, we've been fortunate enough at Genesis to work with Epic.
Yeah,
especially recently in the Chapter 7 stuff that
you guys got a shout out in Genesis. Chapter 7. That's insane.
Yeah, which was absolutely insane to work on. And I am so happy with how everything went. And of course, we talked with Epic about it, because, they need to check in on things.
Oh, yeah.
And I would love to meet some of them there.
Oh, for sure. And look, even Tim, everyone sees the photo. Like, a lot of people's profile photos are with them with Tim. And I'm not saying he'll do that this time, but the past few times he's been there to just even talk. He's like really approachable and personable, super nice. I remember I met Tim the first time was at GDC in 2023, I think. And he was in the Epic Lounge. I was there for meetings, and he was just there. And I was like, oh my God, that's Tim. I'm going to go talk to him. And I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And I went and chatted with him, and I was like, yeah, dude, I've been in, the alpha program for UFN building. He's like, oh, he was like, dude, I'm sorry. He was like, I'm sorry. Like, he was like, he was funny. He was kind of funny talking about it, and thanked me. It was super nice. Took a photo. And then every year since I go chat with him. And this year I have my Creative Juice podcast sticker, this sticker right here. And I went up, I was like, anyway, I'd say hi, we talk, and then I'm like, hey, I have something for you. So I give him the sticker, and then he puts it literally right on his sweatshirt. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, free advertising. This is crazy. Yeah, it's a great time. I'll look forward to it every year. I'll never miss it unless something happens.
Yeah.
Like, it have to be bad.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm as like a one-to-one person, I'm actually not as strong as I am just talking generally. It's odd. I do better in group scenarios, in terms of, if I don't ever like being the only person talking, though. I don't ever. Because there's always that part of me which is important about listening and, learning from others.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, of course the talk is slightly different, as you're the one there to listen to.
Yeah.
But I would still like the questions part. When I heard about that, I was like, oh, okay, that's really helpful to me.
It's awesome. That part is kind of scary, because you just don't know what people are going to ask.
Oh yeah.
But it'll be on topic. You'll be fine. And yeah, it's great. It's really cool to get that conversation. Then even afterwards, be like, people come chat with me. If you didn't get your question, remember, come, I'll talk to you, you hang out. And you're doing fine. Like, with this one-on-one, I think you're great. With your communication and talking one-on-one. But I hear you. I do love that group setting, and talk. When you're one-on-one, someone's got to consistently talk. But when you're in a group, you kind of like, everyone has their turns. You get time to think and really, like, get your point across.
Yeah, I mean, it's odd to put it, that way for me, when I talk mostly one-on-one in podcasts.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I started it was actually just help myself a little bit, because it helps grow like a little bit of social skills. As I seem like I'm really good at it now, but you put me even 3-4 years ago, and I'm completely different in the way I talk and present myself.
Yeah, and I think that's everyone, right? You grow, you see it does. It's just repetitions, and for sure, my first content is so cringe, and I can't even watch it. Like, and I'm sure my first podcast, I would say the same thing.
Yeah,
that's a sign of growth.
Yeah,
right?
The first podcast I did, you were the 5th episode I ever did.
Okay,
so it was still better because I had time to learn and get those like grubbing pains initially, but I still look back on those and I'm like, oh my, because I will bring this up because this is actually one of my favorite things I love to come back to when I think about the podcast, is you and I had a great podcast recording together, but then afterwards we just had a talk. And honestly, from that podcast, I took so much notes. This is the reason I have a camera now. This is the reason I have a better setup. I have an actual mic. I no longer use this. Hold up. This is what I recorded on for the first 2 seasons. And this is the mic. And this was all my setup was, pretty much. And a laptop.
I will say, though, that's super smart. Like, anytime you're starting anything with social media, you don't need the nice setup, the cameras, all those things. They are nice, but just starting, just getting out there, just doing what you're doing. And then if you love doing it, because honestly, you're not going to get overnight success. You're not like, even if you got a popping off video, you're not going to be ready. That's happened to me before. I got a video with 1 million views. I had no idea what to do, but it was the best feeling. I was like, oh, everything's changed, right? But just do with the best with what you have at first, and then upgrade. But podcasts for sure, right? Like there's so many podcasts out there. There's so many things. Like you got to have nice audio, right? Like people are listening. You got it. That has to be number one, and then podcasts now have really just gone video form now. It really has. I would probably say Gen Z Alpha list, if they're going to listen to a podcast, would be on YouTube or video form. And so having a camera obviously helps. So, but I mean, look, I know that was a few years ago and I don't even remember what I told you, but for sure, like I wanted to make sure I said that because but you were in it, and definitely you made great upgrades. But anyone listening, don't, even if you're not even doing podcasts, just post.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. Just post. You're going to suck.
Oh,
doesn't matter.
And it did.
but like you said, you've been doing this years now. You've gotten much better. It's easier. That's just how it is. You just kind of gotta
it's natural
commit.
Growth.
Yeah.
Like there's been nothing unorganic about the growth that I've had. I've just grown naturally through my own failures and strengths, and you've
been consistent.
I think one of the 2 things that I feel the most is consistency and learning from your failures. Those 2 things are honestly the biggest parts of any learning process, because to me, you can have that guiding hand to get you in the right direction, but once you get going, it really needs to be self-propelled.
And those are great. And I would even the third, and then double down on your wins. So people, and you'll see me. You've probably seen posts like, Matt, Immature. I think I've seen you make that post before, a year ago. And the reason is it works. Posts that that have been popular in the past I've made, I'll reuse them. And same with videos. And some, you got to change it up. It shouldn't be exactly the same. But just that. Consistently is first. You got to show up every day. You got to put some work in, and if you're game developing, that's a lot of work already. If you got a job, you got family, that's so much work. And then on top of that, you got to do social media, which is the most important thing out of all. Well, not over your family, but out of this business is social media. So learning those things or making sure you're partnering with somebody who has those things is just invaluable. And if you're young and even if you're 14, in your 20s, whatever it is, if you're young, you're in the best spot because you understand trends. Your friends are saying these things, the brain rot, whatever. That's maybe a bad example, but just that, right? Just like if you're ahead of the trends and you're understanding what that audience wants, you're in a perfect position to make content for them, as you age up and, it's tough. That's a lot harder. And so don't think you're ever too late for this stuff. Just do it.
No, I mean, I am thankful to, be decently young in this space. I'm only around, I'm 19 at the time of this recording, which is still, fresh in the space in terms of age. And to be in the position I am with both now properly getting my face out there, but my voice has been out there for a little bit now, and it's especially got heard of, through the little voice acting role I did, which I never thought would be as big as it did, because I have voice acted in something for Genesis, every single year I've been in Genesis. First with Golden Island
Millions
Saga.
of people have heard your voice.
And then to last year voicing the Hollow Man for Genesis Squid Game, which is so
insane,
crazy.
Dude, how many people have heard your voice? How many plays is that, man?
I don't know the exact number, but I'm pretty sure we're up to 40 million.
Think about that. That's insane. That's a country. There's
insane.
Smaller countries in there.
And the thing is, you normally think, oh, most people don't hear it because maybe they haven't stuck around enough. I am the first thing you hear. So whenever I play this map with my friends, because I play it with some of my in real life friends.
Yeah.
And like to just get to show them like, hey, this is me. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm fortunate to, still be in a voice acting capacity for the team, as I don't think it will be my last voice acting thing, because I'm sure there'll be something else for Genesis Squid Game down the line, or a new project that comes out.
Yeah.
But, I think it's just one of those things where you get to dip your hand into so many different, not fully throwing myself into those areas, but at least going into enough like, hey, I can hold a conversation about this area, or and I think most of that I've learned from the podcast, honestly, to learn so many different areas.
Well, you're saying yes too, so that's another thing. Is just like, you don't. When I started, I just was making games that I thought were fun. I was just trying to get better at Fortnite, making practice games. So like, I never would have thought it would have led to me leaving I had a great job. Never thought that. I never thought it would lead me to create my own gaming studio. I never thought I would get my gaming studio acquired. I never thought I'd be talking to Disney's and Legos and all these crazy big things. You just like, it's just so weird. I guess if that's like I'm not looking for the right word, but like, it's just saying yes and getting involved and doing things in my social media, all those things. I had no idea what would lead to the next thing. And it just works out. Like, people like know if you're genuine when they meet you, that people see your work ethic, if you're posting about it and you're making cool things, and all that just leads to more opportunities. And then just saying yes, right? Like, if you would have said no to that voice acting job, 40 million people wouldn't have heard your voice. But that's just an example. Like, you just have to get out of your comfort zone, and sometimes things fail or flop or don't work out either. And that's fine, but you learned, and then you continue. And so that's what I think, what's great about what you Gig is you consistently are doing that and being successful, and like always being consistent and being involved in everything. And also you're right. Talking to other creators helps you as well. You learn things from them. You learn to speak, you learn how to talk back, have those conversations with, high developers that are crushing it in our platform. So yeah, it definitely helps. I believe that as well with my podcast.
I think it's important you don't ever want to fully close a door unless you know that option is completely wrong. Even if I'm 99% sure I shouldn't go down that path, that door's not closed. It's only those routes where I'm like, okay, I really don't want to do this, both for this reason and this reason, that I'm like, yes, that door is closed.
Yeah.
And there's only a rare few that I have those doors closed to, but everything else, it's like an open road, because you don't know which way it can always take you. But if you're not there for the ride, you're never going to reach it.
But as you grow and you just more like your time gets crunched and there's more, you have more responsibilities, and so it is important to learn no.
Yes.
But like you said, don't necessarily close the door either. It's just hey, not right now. You know what I mean? Or hey, let's have this conversation this later down the road. But yeah. You learn those things, and that's just it. You learn what's worth your time, and learn what isn't. And a lot of creators, that happens. Probably a lot of first time that happens to a lot of creators, and I know what happened to me, is when you especially work for like a influencer, and they're like, hey, I'll build the map for free, or you build the map for free and I'll promote it, that kind of situation. and that sounds great on paper, and you're like, oh yeah, this is it, we got it. But like, you just spent so much time and you didn't get any. It's really hard to grow a map even with that. So again, you got to be careful, and maybe, I'm sure there's a rev share, all that. You talk with that influencer, but also talk about like possibly at least getting your dev cost back with them, things like that. And again, that was one example of that, like the first things that come up, like, oh, this is worth my time. You go all in it, and then influencers, if that map doesn't pop immediately, a lot of them will just be done. They're on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So that I guess there's some advice for you, anyone listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think influencers in this space, I know people think it's a big thing being an influencer in the space, and it is. You know, it does mean you get you don't have a say in things, but you, intentionally or not, you can sway the way conversations happen around certain aspects. I know there was a big thing recently about shockwaves, and I know it's weird.
Yeah, with Nick A.
We're going into Nick A30. He just has an opinion about it, and some people blame him for it, even though I don't believe there was direct correlation.
No, I don't think Epic Dev came out and even said that it was not Nick A30 who did that. Yeah.
So I think it was
that idea.
There could have been indirect with Nick's voice saying, "Hey, I don't like this," and his fans being like, "Okay, I also don't like this." So there could be indirect, which is actually bigger than people think, because what you say and do, especially in a position where millions watch you, is important.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, and look, if I'm Epic, I'm also I am listening to the influencers though too. Yeah. It is important, because honestly, without the influencers, without Ninja, we might not even be talking right now. Like what he brought to this game, and same with Nick A, same with all the big streamers. They keep this game alive a lot with their content, and so there's a delicate balance there, and sure, if I'm glad. I hope what I would hate to see is those guys be scared to voice their opinions, because they do bring good points as well.
They do.
Whatever about the shockwave stuff, but like it's important. But you are right. Influencers can make or break the game, and their influence and what they say does influence their followers. And they're going to jump on those bad bandwagons. That always happens, but it's part of our ecosystem, and I appreciate Nick A speaking up, and I love all those creators that do speak, or those creators that do speak up on issues. It is needed. They do have the loudest voice, and I know some people can disagree with it, but you also need to voice your opinion as well.
Yeah, I think going off voices, I kind of want to hit off on your one a little bit, because you talk a lot motivational, especially with your posts. There's a lot of motivational quotes that you put out or things like that. And it's really good to see this level of positivity, as especially online, most of the time there's either positive or negative.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes the negative outweighs, because it's made out to be these bigger things. But to see someone actually put out these type of things to the right person, it could be a big thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know, I've been on the other side of this, and again, I want to say this: it's very important for us to voice our opinion about what's going on in our ecosystem. That's how Epic's going to see it. And so if your post style is negative and that's what people grow on, people love to follow, cool, man. Do you? I never tell anyone how to run their stuff. I used to be like that. You can go into my Twitter and my X or whatever early on, and I was kind of like that, and always just kind of like making jabs or being negative, this or that. And for me personally, I did feel like it maybe hurt my growth a little bit. Not saying that mattered or not. I was me. I was being authentic. At least I thought at that time. Some things I would cringe, I'm sure, what I said back then to today. But just there's already that going on. I I don't know. I just have limited time these days, and I don't anything that's negative, anything that's kind of like I just sometimes avoid, or I'll just like I don't have necessarily my. It sucks. That kind of energy like just takes way more out of you than positivity in my eyes, and so that's kind of my limited time. I want to just focus on being positive. I will make that one-off tweets here and there, depending on if I see something that needs to be. But like also, I've worked with Epic. I know the right context. I'm fortunate enough to have that to be able to just voice that, or on forums or the right places, on certain things. But I do try to stay positive. I don't know. You practice what you preach, and I don't know. I don't necessarily want to saying all that. I do want us to succeed, though. I do want this ecosystem to thrive, and us. I don't ever want this to go away. So yeah, I do think it is important. Both sides are very important, and again, I want to make sure I'm not bad mouthing anybody who takes their opinions to Twitter. It's very hard. I know that to voice your opinion like that, especially with big audiences. Some of these people have that do. So good on them. And sometimes I'll like or retweet or share that post what they're doing. But ultimately, I like to stay positive. I like to help out creators. That's kind of my niche. You know what I mean? Not to mention, I'm not in the engine like I mentioned earlier in this podcast. Like I used to be every day, 12 hours a day, that I knew every little nuance, everything. So I knew like what was true, or at least I felt I knew what was more. I was more like ingrained into the ecosystem that way with creators, and so more so now I still I know it the day to day, but I'm not in it like in it. That I would like to be. Hopefully, I am now. More, I'm gonna be able to be more inside of it. But that's another stance when it comes to certain things. But just me being in it, I can't stand like the iteration time, it taking forever to update all those things. That's so annoying, and it sucks. Like what's fun? I don't know if it's funny or not, but like a lot of the gripes and complaints about UEFN, this or that. Like I heard, I read some of my people from my teams were saying, and I get it. But like I wasn't necessarily. Now I'm personally in it, and I'm being affected by it. Now I'm just like, oh my god, like I get it. I'm so I was hoping some of these things would be solved by now, but yeah, man. Thanks for bringing that up and saying that, and I try to be most days. You know what I mean? There's a lot of tweets or posts that I write, and then I just stop, or I'll save, and I'll post this in an hour, and then I'm kind of calmed down. I'm like, all right, or I'll delete later. There's some of those too. But yeah, I really do try to be, and we're like things are way better than 1.0 in a lot of aspects. I do miss, like I loved building with the character and just having limited assets to build. That was really fun to make. I still love, like I still have a lot of respect for all devs and everything, but I'll always have this 1.0 respect for the artists that a lot of the people that paved the way for UEFN in our community. And you had to have these, like, programming was, I wouldn't say hard, but it's just a totally different. You had to learn it like a whole different type of way to program in 1.0. So I have a huge respect. That's what I did. So I have a huge respect for that. And then the Makas and all those type of people that would build insane artistic builds with piece by piece, Dumb Blondes, all those early creators. It stinks to see that part of it kind of just go away, and now you can just kind of like pop down a 3D asset or buy it. You could also make it, which is really hard too. I'm not trying to take that away from anybody, but just I just really do miss those days.
I think there's a little bit of, I don't want to say there's a little bit of heart loss with the new maps or things like that, but it felt like there was more unique creativity back then, when you had more limitations than you had access. You had to be really creative, either from a visual standpoint or on a technical standpoint. Either way, you were pushing the limits of what you could do every day. And I know people in UEFN do that now, but it feels like there's more uniformity, I could say now, in creative, which is good in some ways. Don't get me wrong, it has its benefits. But I feel like the biggest thing it negatively impacts is the unique individual creativity with limitations.
But for sure, and I think there was I think a much stronger community as well with 1.0 than today's as well. I think that's a bigger part I miss. I actually have something interesting. I might post this on X, but I want to talk. I'll mention it here about 2 posts I made. But saying with the 1.0 stuff, like UEFN, there's just it's so much. There are things that's so much easier to build now, and so many more things we can create and build, and proper monetization to earn money from it. Not to mention, I always say this is just like we couldn't like Fortnite, UEFN, or Fortnite had to do something to compete with other engines coming in, right? We couldn't just stay 1.0 whatever. Like we needed to have a legit engine for people to come in and create all these type of games that anyone could, even though people necessarily aren't or some are, they're just not popular. It had to happen, but I do love a lot of things about UEFN and the undo button. Lots of things like that. But anyway, getting back to that post. So just to show you this, I posted, like I was mentioning, I make kind of like popular posts I made last year, I'll make this year. And one of the posts recently, it was something about Fortnite. Maybe I'll send it to you so you can put it up on the screen. You could see the difference of interactions, and it from I think even just a year. I think I've done that post a few years in a row, and every year our community, the posts about it, and I think it's about Fortnite 1.0 or just something very like who's been building who believed in Fortnite from Fortnite created from day one, those kind of stuff. It's just so much less people interacting with it now and liking it, and it's just like kind of I like what I'm saying is just like our community right now is I don't know the answer. I don't know what it is, but it's just a lot. It's not a lot of people are posting as much anymore. I just feel like there's just like there's a lot of people like reserved, or maybe just kind of like, I don't know, I want to say fed up, but just things that have been going. It's been really hard as a creator. Lots of creators, lots of teams that were been around forever disbanding. Lots of creators that had success are having trouble in this ecosystem. And so it's been rough, but it's been interesting. Like, I don't know how accurate that little experiment is, if you call it that, but it is interesting to see about our community and the interaction in the last few years. It has definitely been going down.
Yeah, I think, I don't want to say it's becoming more and more corporate, but I feel like that's the closest word to it to describe it. I think uniformity is also a very good one for it, because it feels like it's not necessarily about the creativity as much as it should be. It's more about being a business, making a revenue, and okay, I now have to do that for Genesis, and some of the things. So even me doing it, I'm just like, there is those days where I'm like, is there a way to make it how it was?
It comes business, and it did and that's what happens, and I started making videos, and I love making videos. Like I'll always love that art form. I love doing that personally. It's just like a great feeling. But then my map started making money, and then I had to like pick between social media. But the reason I got success was because of the social media, and so like there's just like this weird, it's like this yin and yang as you grow it, and you kind of start having to figure out like, okay, I have to provide for my family. I have to start making money. So like I have to take this serious as a business now and not as a hobby. And so then you do have to make different decisions, and you have to, I only have so much time in the day. So I have to focus on this side of things now instead of what I used to focus on, which sucks. Was a hobby that I still love doing it and building. That's my favorite thing to do. I'll always do that. But like never, that saying, whatever about your hobby, don't turn it into a business kind of thing. It's true, but that's kind of what happens. And it's still beats any day in the oil field where I used to work.
Yeah.
Like I'm not complaining, none of that stuff, but like, I don't look at, I don't want to say, I'm going to call out Mustard Plays here but like, hear me out. And I don't even know if this is true, but like, look at his content. It's just like me. Like once he started his business and his successful maps and things, it's really hard to keep up your content. He was posting every day and now he posts a lot less. Right. And just that's my, like, part of the example. It's just, you only have so much time in the day, and you have to kind of like think about, what's your new mission, what's your new goal. And then you got to go after it. So it's, I know a lot of creators, like we're missing that. I miss his content. I miss my content. Yeah. I miss a lot of content like on UEFN and Fortnite. I miss it. And we're not getting a lot of that. We get a lot of tutorials, I feel a lot more, which is great. We got to have that. But I do miss, and I planned in my little 1 year of social media to do a lot of that content, but it's tough. It's a lot of work. And then, I spend weeks on making a video, and then it only, gets a few thousand views, which is great. But it's, it's like, that my time wasn't worth it at that time. I should focus here. So again, a lot of that trial and error. And yeah, I don't know, man. I love Fortnite. I'll always be here. I miss a lot of the old times. I think I always will. But there's new times ahead, and lots of cool things I think to be excited for. I don't think Fortnite's going anywhere. And I do believe that I really hope and believe that smaller creators and smaller teams will, get their day in discovery and be able to make maybe a small business around it.
Yeah, I think there's so much potential for people in this space, and it's just not grasping it for yourself every time, but I think just, like we said before, trial and error. I think there's a lot of place to, when you're new in this space, to make those learning mistakes. And I get there's, people worried to make those, or, they said, I want to just, be on it. I want to do that. And you need to give yourself time to learn and make those mistakes. So it's important.
100%. I made 50 maps or something before I had one that actually took off. So like, it's just that. And that's the biggest thing in this ecosystem. It's failing fast. It's not, stop being worried. And I was like that. I was worried about what people think, what this or that, what people are going to say. And you're in the wrong circle if there's people that are telling you otherwise. Just get it out there. Publish your game. Even if it gets a few plays, whatever, learn from it. What worked, what didn't. Retry, and then eventually you'll start getting plays. And in this ecosystem especially, it's really a lot of the games, like we've seen some games that came out a while ago, but they've been updating, being consistent, and now they're starting to get decent time and discovery. So like, and Epic is looking at that. They're looking at how your update cadence, you're getting in that new row and your update, things like that. So like, use those tools, use those things to help your game grow.
Yeah. I think it's been absolutely amazing to sit down with you again. I know it wasn't the cleanest ever podcast, maybe because of there was no issues at Cabbage. There was no issues, right? Thank you. Cool.
Can't control the power, man. It's all good. You're back fast. So life happens. I had to go to the bathroom anyway, so it's perfect.
Yeah, toilet break. Where's Jem? Where's the toilet breaks?
Yeah, I need the toilet break.
Just did a tag in, and Jem just appears in your seats.
Oh my god! I'll be working just every bathroom break. All right,
Jem. Get it?
Jem's bathroom talk time or whatever. She always says like a story. That's what he's talking about. If you don't know, in the creative in my stream with the creators, the creator showcase, I always have to go to the bathroom, and she has a piece in it where she like tells story to the viewers.
Yeah. hopefully you're used to this by now, or at least you'll remember this. At the end of the podcast, I always give a place to shout out anything. Is there anything that you want to shout out or say?
Sure, yeah. Look, love what you're doing, man. Keep it going, brother. This is an amazing podcast. Thanks for having me as a guest. If you want to follow me or anything like that, it's just Immature Gamer. You can find me on all socials. LinkedIn, business wise, my name is Matthew Zanazzo. And you can also find me there.
Yeah, great. I didn't want to say your full name at the beginning of this because I knew I'd butcher that last name.
It's a nightmare. Everyone messes it up, but it's fine. I get it. I've had it my whole life. So yeah, it's a Z. It's like I've been last. I've been picked last for my whole life.
Oh my god, yeah, in Predators. Oh my god, I didn't think of
that. It's all good, brother.
But
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and coming back. Actually. It's been absolutely amazing, and I want to shout out again right at the end. Please go check out Matt's podcast as well, Creative Juice. It will be linked in the description below. So please feel free to go check that out. There's amazing episodes that he releases about bi-weekly, and there's always great guests. So, and definitely not, pointing you in the Genesis direction one, totally, there's the Dylan
watch
one.
This first and then go over.
Yeah. But no, thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you back.
Thanks for having me, dude. I better be your first three-peat guest.
Yes, we can arrange, maybe in another 2 years exactly. Hey, another 2 block. We'll see how
we don't need to wait that long, maybe.
Yeah, but maybe we'll stick it less than 2 years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for listening, and we will see you all next week. Bye.